Who wants a pot of coffee? I just made coffee. You want a cup of coffee? Sure, there you go. Who wants coffee? Anybody else want coffee? Who wants coffee?
And now it's time for the man with the caffeine, the new tropics for the brain. It's Coffee with Mike. Hang in, hang tight, grab your cup, and let's get this thing started.
Welcome back to Java Chat, everybody. This is part 2 of a 2-part interview with Bryce McKinley of REI Results Academy. Our last time together, we talked a bit about his origins and his journey and how he moved through a lot of challenges, a lot of tornadoes, a lot of storms, and then kind of got to the point where we were starting to talk about this academy that he has. I will say I've been through a couple of his challenges. He does challenges here and there online. And I gotta say, I've talked with a lot of people. I've been through a lot of courses, like the big dollar courses. His challenges take you through more content than those big dollar courses do. And I'm being sincere. It's one of the reasons why I wanted him to come on Java Chat is because he is that, what's the word? He is that giving. I mean, he really intends for anybody, one, that will listen, two, that will put the work in to really succeed. So this section, we're going to talk a little bit more about how this all came about. You know, when we left off, we talked about how Bryce and Kyle they got together and they started working together in real estate. I'm assuming, of course, this is before REI even got started and before you got Coach Sharpen. So I want to hear about that too. I want to hear how you got that title, because that's really cool. In fact, is that kind of based off of like Covey's 8 habit? No? Okay, good. Then there's a good story I want to hear. But from the time that you and Kyle started talking and got together for business, what happened? Take us through the rest of that and bring us up to today, man.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Thank you for having me back, man. I appreciate that. It's definitely a pleasure. You know, one thing that I learned, Michael, is this, that in life's shadows, no matter if you're under a tree or you're sitting next to a warehouse of a shadow and it's overwhelming, there is light casting that shadow from somewhere. And I just want to, encourage someone listening right now, like, keep pushing, keep climbing, keep digging, go over, go under, go around, but don't stop. Because about 4 years ago, at the height of the real estate, boom in my life, I had some tough decisions to make. And this was actually before I met Kyle, my business partner now. I was at this crossroads, and I like the phrase crossroads of confidence, meaning it could have been good this way or it could have been that way, but I chose the path by way of my gut, by way of my beliefs, by way of my feelings, and most importantly, outside of all of that, just the pure determination to be what I wish that I had. And so about 4 years ago, I was called to speak, as I often speak, on really massive stages. And this was an event down in Jamaica in front of 4,000 or 5,000 real estate investors. I mean, it was a big event, week-long event. I was the keynote speaker, the headliner. And
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, right? And here I am. I've always spoke on stage or in front of audiences, but this was like the first presentation that I was giving in real estate specifically around my processes and what we did, how we did it differently, and so forth. Because mind you, pre-COVID, pre this whole pandemic, whatever your beliefs are, like we had already been virtual the previous 6.5, 7 years.
Yep.
So I've been virtual now for, over 10 years to date, but nobody else really understood that. And so here I am about to present. And I get this phone call right before I get on stage, and it was one of my partners, and they're like, when you get home, we need to talk. And it was like all of those gut feelings that you have like come up and you're like, it's about time. So I get on stage and I just released everything. I shared my faith. I shared my testimony. I shared our 5 steps to the conversation, the 7 steps to business. I just gave it all away. And in that moment, I knew I had nothing to lose. I knew I had nothing to lose. And like I mentioned in part 1, my friend Zig Zigler said once, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have anything in life that you desire. And so I started living that outwardly on what I felt inwardly. And when I got home, the partners and I, we had a 3-way conversation over the phone because that's the most professional way to break up, I asked great questions and I said, well, it feels like we should just probably part ways. And they're like, yeah, that's what we're trying to say. I was like, I'm glad we came to that resolution. And we're still friends. I have nothing bad to say about these guys. They gave me a shot years ago when I was first getting on my feet, back on my feet after being homeless and all of these things that I went through. However, they knew that I didn't need them and they didn't understand or appreciate the value that I brought, and they depended on other people versus putting it on me. And that's something I learned at a very young age. And I want to encourage somebody listening is like, don't waste good talent right in front of you. Empower them. Don't be afraid of them taking over your job, especially if you are the owner, the manager, or the supervisor. Like, empower them with the responsibilities and let them make you look better.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was a lesson I hope that they learned, but I have not the right to tell them that,
Yeah.
In the meantime, so we parted ways and I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do? Because I had just bought a new house. Like, it was an investment property, but it was a new house. Moved in, just got married or getting married in the next month. Like, all of these things are happening, big events in my life. Like, here I am basically, back to square one, unemployed. What am I going to do?
All while milestoning it the whole way.
Right. So, first things first, I just kind of go into hustle mode and I start doing a couple of deals, and I was in a non-compete. I started doing some deals in Florida, started doing some deals in California, and worked up a network and a flow of deals in these 2 markets that I was in. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy. So then I started doing live streams every other day. I would jump on the camera on my computer and I would just record my calls, my cold calls that I was doing. And it just started creating this buzz. And I had a group with a guy. I was actually in a Facebook group with a guy who, at the time, he was horrible. He was prospecting leads. He had paid this admin that was also a coach and a guru. Everybody would know him if I said his name. I'm not going to do that. But I just do not like this guy, because in this group, here's this poor 19-year-old kid. I think he was 18 at the time, newly married, in the military, in Japan, prospecting into the US via Skype and like live streaming his calls looking for help. And his coach and mentor didn't realize that he was not only just a number, but he was one of his paid coaching students. And live on air, he told him, bro, like, you suck. Don't quit your day job.
Oh, man.
That was his coach. And not in those words, of course, but here I am. This was back when Facebook Live was Facebook Live. It was real time. I'm like keyboard ninja, this dude. Like, don't worry about what he says. Say this to your seller. Open your call this way. All right, say this, say that, say this, say that, say this. And I walked him through live stream. He had maybe 4 or 5 viewers at the beginning. And by the end of his live stream, he had a couple hundred people watching him get this deal while I'm penciling it keyboard style. And he closed the deal. That's
awesome.
Badass. It was so cool. I'm like, you're going to say this, and they're going to say this next. Say this, say this, say this. And it was so cool. He got off the phone and he's like, dude, I'm going to inbox you. And he messaged me. We jumped on a Zoom call. and the rest is history. That's where the academy started, because I helped this kid get his first deal live stream. And he's like, man, you should coach this. And I'm like, I know, right? Like, I've been talking about that. Like, what would you pay for something like this? And he's like, I give you $5,000 if you teach me everything you know. I'm like, done. I didn't realize that was a really low ticket item, you know?
Yeah,
But
considering.
I was like in this hustle like mode, and I didn't really know what pricing looked like in the coaching world. And I know what I had charged for stage, and I didn't think that this kid could pay me 50, 60 grand. So
Right.
$5,000, let's do it. We'll meet once a week and we'll go over our process. We'll role play, and that was it. And we'll stream it for other people. So we created a Facebook group, and we started streaming our coaching sessions and letting other people jump in on a free call and then paying for it. And that's kind of how it came about organically. And, tens of thousands of people later that have watched these calls and these live streams, and thousands of people that we've helped over the last 3.5, 4 years coming through our, free group or our challenge group, or now reading our book. Just been super blessed. And then, as your algorithm kind of levels out, you kind of have to learn to pivot. And right at the top of that algorithm, like pivoting, I went to an event and I had my camera crew, I had my former business partner, a different business partner in a different business, my wife, our assistant. We had like 5 or 6 people, a little entourage. And one of the things you do when you're an up and coming celebrity or a celebrity is like go assess the room, but also act like you own it, And that's what I did. I walked right to the front of the room.
Where'd you learn that? Who taught you that one? Because I had a mentor that taught me that one.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was Bill Bowden, which was interesting because we talked about him in part 1, right?
Yes, we did.
And where we left off. And so it's kind of a really cool closed loop to that. I just had this conversation with my wife yesterday or the day before. She's like, where do you get this? Because sometimes I just I walk into a room and I just want to be a fly on the wall. I'm like, no, you got to act like you know everything.
Yeah,
it's impossible. Everybody, and then sit back as a fly and watch who comes to you and who you attract. And she's like, really, where'd you learn this? And I'll never forget, it was my first mentor and coach that Ford Motor Company hired for me, Michael, Bill Bowden. He's like, you're going to go in this boardroom and you're going to be nervous as shit if you're not already. And I'm like, oh, dude, I am. I'm going into a boardroom with the CEO, CFO, CMO of Ford Motor Company, and I was 23 years old. I was scared shitless, and no formal education. I was
even
nervous.
Even more so, I would expect.
Yeah, I was afraid my suit didn't look up to par, because it sure as heck wasn't like a custom $10,000 suit like they were all wearing. That was the story I was telling you myself, right?
Yeah.
Man, I walked in. He told me, walk in like you own the place. Don't acknowledge nobody. Set your stuff down. Introduce yourself to one person and sit back down and watch what happens. And that's what I did. I didn't even know the guy at the time that I introduced myself to. It was the CEO of Ford.
I was going to say, you probably grabbed the CEO without even knowing it.
Didn't know it. I walked in. My name is Bryce McKinley. I come from Dull Ford, from Davenport, Iowa. It's a pleasure to be here, man. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to our meeting today. I sat down and I started acting like I was scribbling notes. And everybody kind of come in. They started mingling. He's like, everybody, I want you to meet somebody. He's like, this is Bryce. This is who we're here to. And I didn't realize this meeting was all for me. I knew it was going to be about me, but I didn't know it was for me to present. And it was the coolest thing, man. I ended up owning that room with a bunch of A-level executives. And here I am, this punk kid, reformed gangster. And I carried that with me because I created a persona that not necessarily was intimidating, but it established my authority. And if you establish your authority and you set your boundaries and then you lay out expectations, you can't fail. And when you do, people will help you up.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. It was kind of cool. I mean, that's how Kyle and I met. He seen me beeline to the front of the stage. My camera crew took a bunch of photo shots. I shake the hands, I kiss the babies, that whole thing with a few people that noticed me. And I walked back out of the room. And if you know, like the ClickFunnels community, it was at one of the funnel hacking live. So there's like tens of thousands of people in, out of the event, like all over the place. It was nuts. And I walk out and Kyle like beelines it to me with his business partner at the time. And it's like, Bryce McKinley. I'm like, you know what time it is? And we're like, yeah, we high-fived, we shook hands, we started talking. Come to find out, Kyle just wanted to see if I was the same douchebag that he thought I was on camera. He told me this and realized like I'm just a real dude that loves people, that has a persona that attracts the type of people that I want to work with. And the rest is history. Kyle and I partnered shortly thereafter. This was right as COVID was happening. We created this like pop-up group on Facebook called Leading Through Change. And in a matter of weeks, we had like thousands of people in there, and we were bringing in people from our network. I brought in like Matt and Caleb Maddox. We brought in like Patrick Mazer, from ACN, like all of these super highly influential people, and just poured into this audience and created this little buzz for several months. And we're like, we got something here. And when we knew we could work together for free, we're like, let's see how much money we can make. And we partnered together. Kyle come in and help take over marketing, because that's what he does best, marketing and operations. I'm forward facing, just kind of the evangelist and face of the company. And between the two of us, and then, our mutual friend Dan has volunteered a ton of his time because he's seen the big picture, helping us with the tech in the background. And it's just been really cool. And while we're, 3.5 years in, not super profitable on the coaching, but we've made couple $1 million, in our first year together, and just been super blessed to really, more importantly, help a lot of people. And like you said, you've come through our challenge. We leave it all on the table. I'm going to give you my 7 steps. My book, 5-Hour Flip, right? Like, it gives you my 7 steps and my 5 steps. And we even give you an opportunity to buy for like $27. You can buy some of our marketing material. And it's literally the same stuff that, I know you can't see this if you're listening, but if you're watching this, like, it's the same stuff in our academy, like in our top secret files that we have. Like, it is the same stuff. All those scripts, copy and paste scripts, like, it's the same stuff that
you gave out some of the scripts during the challenge. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I used, because I saw the variant on it. I've used a number of scripts. I used to be in the phone room, just so you know. But your script, I looked at the variant and I went, there's some triggers in there. Let me try this. And I did, and it worked. So it's like, guys, you have someone here, as he said, kind of figured out he's just a real dude that loves people. I've watched Bryce live doing the classes, doing the challenge, doing the live coaching. I've been even on the paid coaching side. I came in on a couple calls.
Yeah.
He doesn't hold back. I mean, he does live calls even on the free ones. He's just like, look, let's go see what we can do. And he invites people that are just there to learn to go ahead and have him make calls for them. So you have someone genuine, one, who's really trying to help people. You have someone who wants to see people succeed. And these are the kinds of, when you're talking about mentors and coaches, you want people that want to see you succeed, like Bowden. Wants to pull out of you what you don't realize you have yourself. And I think I saw you do that too on a coaching call. One of the coaching calls you did that with somebody who was new. You kind of got them to get out of their shell a little further in order to be more confident in what they were doing and what they were dealing with.
Yeah, Stephanie, I remember that.
Okay, good. Yeah. And that in and of itself was just, it wasn't so much by any means, he didn't do it to showcase his talents as a coach. He did it to showcase their talents as an investor and to show them that they had more in them than they thought they had. And if I remember correctly, there was a little bit of an aha moment for them, because once they got out, it was like, oh, okay, I get it. This is what you want in a coach and a mentor. Hey guys, we're going to take a short 30-second break. We'll be right back. We'll dig a little bit more because I want to talk about the book. That 5-hour flip's going to be cool. So we'll talk about that. 30 seconds. Be back. And we're back here at Java Chat, hanging out with Bryce McKinley, Coach Sharp. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. This Coach Sharpen thing, dude. Come on.
You know what time it is?
Yeah, we all know what time it is. That's the best part about it. So when I first, you're gonna love this, guys. When I first started watching, and it was Dan. He's like, "Hey, there's this thing up online. Go watch." And I'm like, "All right, what now?" And I get over there, and Bryce comes on, and the first thing he's like, "Hey, everybody, Bryce McKinley, Coach Sharp-E. You know what time it is." I'm looking at him, going, "Oh my God, here we go." Just another one of these guys. Rah. Let's hear the rah and get it over with. And he started going into content. Like, guys, he started going into valuable, real. He had his mindset portion, and then he went right into the meat and potatoes. And I'm sitting here going, wait. This is supposed to be a bone to gnaw, and this boy's giving up the meat. What is he doing? And the more I watched and more I listened, I was like, oh yeah, he's playing hardball against the gurus. I can already see they're going to be mad at him for doing this. I like him.
Dude, they started copying us, man. All last year, they copied everything we did.
I figured you'd bring that up, and it's absolutely true because I watched some of them do it. I'm looking at them going, man, they've been watching Bryce. They have to be, because he's the only one that was doing this. And the whole thought around that was at first, and that's no insult to you, Bryce. I was looking at it going, another coach. Oh my God, because you know how Dan and I feel about coaches.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, get a coach, get a piece of paper, say you're a coach, and then go out at the age of 24 and tell a 50-year-old that you can help him with his life.
Winning.
Yeah, right. Hashtag leave me be.
Right.
Hashtag you don't know what you think you know.
Not me. Wrong move.
Yeah, right. Listen, hashtag you are not as knowledgeable as you think you are. Go away. But no, it really was. It was, and again, it's more of a compliment of anything, because I stayed just to hear what you were going to talk about. You got into the mindset stuff. I said, okay, he's following a proper course, getting people's heads in the right space first. Let's see what he's got to talk about. You started getting into the actual investment. You started talking about the information. You started talking about how to actually create deals. The five step.
Income producing activities. I mean, we named our company REI Results for a reason.
The results are very, guys, he talked about it in the first part, which was the 5-step and the 7-step. And then you just manage the pieces in between it. That 5-step was basically the focus of the first time I ever saw him. And I'll tell you, marketing goes out, leads come back, have conversations. I'm not going to give them all. I'm not going to give them all. I'm not going to give them all away. But yeah, I heard it. I heard it very well. And I'm like, yeah, that's the process. You simplified it a lot, because most of the gurus confound and complicate and they cause overthinking, which still happened with the group that I was with. It was still happening. But for the most part, it's if you follow the system, and this goes back to the other old adage, systems run companies, people run systems. If you run the system works. And the more you put that out there, I'm like, yeah, this boy dangerous. Yeah, he dangerous. He's going to do some damage. Sure enough, like you said, everybody started following your example, and I'm like, this is all it is. You set a trend, you become the forefront, and they can't deny it. As much as they want to talk shit, they can talk all the crap they want. Wouldn't change. So, REI Results. REI. I'm not going to assume. What does the REI stand for?
Yeah. So REI is, we call it REI. REI is real estate investing, real estate investments, real estate investing, however you want to put it, real estate investing.
Okay, so REI Results, obvious meaning. When did that name become an absolute reality? Because you are already doing this. I mean, you were already putting it out there on lives. You just didn't have that brand behind you yet.
Yeah. So shortly before I met Kyle, I formed a company, and one of the things, and I kind of hinted at it a second ago, is, the results. It's all about results. It's about getting results for other people and showing that we also have results. There's nobody that's done what we have done in this industry. And,
in the amount of time that you've done it either. The time that it took was not long.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the biggest, baddest players in this space, 20 years, 30 years, 10 years, whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, we've closed 1,500 transactions. I'm like, we did that last year. Oh yeah, we've closed 100 and some odd transactions.
Last week.
Yeah, I did that last week.
Yesterday.
Depending on, obviously, I'm not trying to exaggerate here, but depending on the different times of the year and what they're talking about, I was like, wait, I got something here. We got something. And then talking with, Kyle and forming the several companies that we have now together, it just boiled down to Kyle had a dream and I had a dream and they both lined up. We own every house together. And that was a part of the same dream that I had with REI Results and producing the same content, producing the same results for the people and clients that we would work with and serve. And so we just partnered with each other's company. So I'm partners with him on every house. He's partnered with me on REI and REI Academy, the REI Results Academy, and REI Results, one of our wholesaling companies, and REI Results 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like our multiple companies that we have underneath of our trust and so forth. And so just been super blessed, man. And how it came about was really just because everything that I've always taught, when I was consulting as a Fortune 500 consultant, it was all about results, right? You learn in corporate really fast, get me results, and then get out.
Yep.
They want to pay you as much as you can up front with as little amount as possible. And they want you to be there as short a time so you don't affect everything that they've got going on in their system, right?
Yeah.
And so at a young age, when I realized that there was 7 steps to business, it doesn't matter what business it is, there's 7 steps to every business. Sure, there's micro processes in between and different, tools that help the system run better, but there's 7 steps. And then in every communication event or conversation, there's always 5 steps. It doesn't matter if you're trying to get your kids to pick up their clothes, the husband to do the dishes, the wife to pick up the room, whatever, or trying to lock up a house or sell it to a buyer. There's 5 steps in every conversation. And when I realized that after talking with Bill and dissecting what I did and putting it on paper, I've always taught, teach income producing activities first, and then add tools and systems later. Add tools and systems later. I can't stress that enough. People want to go out and they want to buy this tool and this software and this text magic thing and this you skip tracing thing over here and this comp running system over here. And it's like, holy, yeah. $500 a month later, you have no ad budget to spend on marketing. And that's step number 1, put marketing out. So yeah, we really just simplified and dumbed it down, started teaching organic, how to create an organic presence and organic traffic. And then once you've done that and established, a transaction or 2 or more, depending on how well you do with it, because people take to it differently than others. Mm-hmm. Once you establish a consistent, dedicated routine that's generating income, then start adding tools and systems to make it more efficient and monetized, right? So
and eventually get you out of it so that somebody else can run it and you can go do something else and create more income, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Yep. That's how many people don't realize this one. But one of the nice parts about, you just mentioned, you teach the organic side, which, guys, I don't care what you do, anything worth having takes work. Yeah. You got to put some work in on the front end. It's just not, you've either got, and you hear this one, this is becoming cliche too. You either got a lot of money, you got a lot of time. And most people getting into real estate don't have a lot of money. It's later that they have a lot of money and a lot of time along with it. But in the beginning, you got to put the time in. And that was one of the nice things that I saw when you started teaching the actual marketing. As we were going through the challenge, I looked at that, I was like, yeah, this is what it's really about. You actually taught organic social media marketing, which really nobody likes giving away because it's like, that's a lot of work. Actually, no, it's not. If you use the right verbiage, it may only take 1 post. It took me 7 to get what I had when I was in on your challenge. And I looked at that and I was like, this is way too easy. I actually, for a little while, my own self, I was like, I'm missing something. I'm not doing something. Something's wrong here because this is going way too fast. This is happening way too quickly. It's never happened this quickly with anybody else that I've ever done this with.
Yeah.
And then I took a real solid look at it. It's like, nope, simple tenets of marketing. It's really not that hard. So REI, every house, which we can always talk about too if you want, but REI Results Academy, you're still doing the challenges, right? You're still running.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we've taken kind of a break the last several months as we fix the tech and the marketing, and to make it better and really fine tune the message, right? We stopped, not completely stopped. I mean, we'll work with some people that are new, but we won't work with everybody. We had to get really picky because our time started getting stretched thin. And so the last several months, we kind of let the algorithm die down, let the ads run down, cool off the accounts, fix the stuff in the back that were broken that we didn't realize. I mean, when you go from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds, you tend to break some stuff. And that's how Kyle and I operate. It's like, let's break it, see where our holes are, let's patch them up. Let's go again, see if they hold. If they don't, let's fix them. Let's permanently fix them. And so after a lot of testing and split testing, different types of events, having a co-host versus Kyle and I hosting together, different style of events and challenges and groups and things like that, pop-up groups versus long-term groups, all these different things. We're ready. We haven't put a date down. However, we are doing an event in first quarter. So here in the next month or so, we're going to be doing another event. Super excited about that. And again, I've kind of go back. I'm not shamelessly, but I am shamelessly like plugging the book. You go back and you register to get the book. You'll be on the list to get the notifications to jump into the challenge. And so
perfect timing because I want to get into the book next. I want to talk about what's in the book. So guys, we're going to take one more 30-second break. We'll come back, talk about the book, talk about where you can get it, all that stuff in about 30 seconds. Be right back. And we're back here at Java Chat, hanging out with Bryce McKinley, Coach. That's the other thing we got to talk about before we talk about the book. Coach Sharpen. Now, me thinking about Sharpen, I think about the 8th habit when it comes to Covey and sharpening the saw, but it doesn't have anything to do with that. So how did you get this type? I get it. Because like anytime you see him, it's like, hey guys, it's Coach Sharpen. And you're always talking about sharpening skills, which is in line with that. But how'd that brand come about with you?
Yeah, so it actually started with a men's group on Saturday mornings. I was meeting with a group of my friends to, go through the Bible, go through business, go through life, like go through all these different areas, right? Number one. So it started out there and it just kind of evolved. The group name was Sharpen, and then we formed a nonprofit. And in the nonprofit, we were doing a homeless ministry at serving a homeless community.
Awesome.
And just so happened, like one of the guys like got me this hat, and it's not this one, but it was the original one. And they put it on there, and they started calling me Coach Sharpen. They're like, you should be a coach, like Coach Sharpen, whatever. And that's how it started. It has since evolved into an acronym, a non-for-profit, and it's kind of like my superhero cape. When I shut this door in my office and walk in, I become a superhero. Or when I'm on stage, I am a superhero. Because why? I believe that the people under the sound of my voice are here for a reason. I believe that whether they realize it or not, they need this information or they need some of the help that I can provide. And I am their best source of information. And I truly believe that. And so it became this like superhero cape, not because I'm bald, because I am one sexy ass bald dude. However, it became my superhero cape because I get to look myself in the mirror, or I get to look myself in the camera and see the reflection flipped around. Because this hat is backwards. If you can't see me, it says #Sharpen, like you would sharpen a knife, S.H.A.R.P.E.N. But it's also an acronym. And it's twofold. One, it's a reminder constantly. When I look in the mirror, I do a live stream or I do a selfie with you at an event so that it flips around and you can see it and read it correctly. But also so that I know and tell myself, I got to get better. I've got to help somebody today, and I need to learn something today. It's that reminder. And the acronym is selflessly helping already persons eager for nurturing, that are selflessly helping already persons eager for nurturing. So you've got to be ready, you've got to be eager, and you need or want some sort of help. Because I'm picky about who I work with. I mean, I get hired by some of the greatest minds in the world that come in and teach them neurolinguistic programming, sales and persuasion, business consulting, management training, hiring, all of these things. And I can't work with everybody, and I've got to be picky about who I work with. And so for those reasons, that's where the acronym selflessly helping already persons eager for nurturing comes into play. And then, straight out of the good book, I mean, whether you read the Bible or not, you can't deny that it's one of the best all-time selling books, always has been, always will be. Yeah.
Still.
And it's a scripture. As iron sharpens iron, so does one another for his brother, and helps each other out. We've got to help each other out.
Yeah. That's the truth. That's the absolute truth.
Yeah, that's where it comes from, man.
That's awesome. I'll need to get that acronym spelled out so we can put that in the comments so people can remember that. The book, 5-Hour Flip. What's in it? What can people expect to get out of it? And how can they get one?
Yeah, for sure. So my partner Kyle and I, we kind of co-wrote this thing, like between my notes and my outline and his ability to like finesse words just like we both do so well. He's got a lot more patience with tech and things like that. So we like put together this outline, and then he like vocalized it. So it's like the two of us together. He did a lot of the hard work. I give him credit for that. I get a lot of the credit because I'm forward facing, but we know that it's not about ego. It's not about me. It's not about him. And so we co-wrote this book, and it went international bestseller in a couple of categories. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it went bestseller within minutes or hours of it being released.
Sweet.
And that was because of the content. It literally is just like the events that we do. We held no bars. Like, we left everything on the table. Our 7 steps, we break it down. These are what you've got to do. Our 5 steps, these are the things that you've got to do. Our forms of marketing, the different types of marketing, how we market to buyers versus sellers, and sellers to buyers versus buyers to buyers, and so forth. And we just dumbed it down. I mean, the thing is like 60 or 70 pages, so it's not very
fast read. That's a fast read.
An easy read. It's an easy read. And so yeah, we broke it down that way first, and it's been really cool. It's been really cool. There's a couple links in there. One of my favorite things is, if you remember, Michael, from the challenge, is how we break down the conversation, right? It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
It's like going to the gym, and we break that down in the book. Like, you warm up with people, and it's not like you warm up and find a commonality and then you end up talking all about yourself like most coaches do. Find a commonality and talk about it. Oh, you fish, I fish. I like to catch bass. What do you like? You remember that from the challenge, right?
Yes, I do remember that from the challenge.
Like, don't do what all these other guys are telling you to do, because nobody cares about you, And so we break that down, and how it correlates with going to the gym and working out, and the same 5 steps that you go through from warming up, stretching out, moving the needle, because you don't bench press 300. You start out at 100, 150, 200. You bridge the gap. You get defeating questions and limiting beliefs when you're at rep 8. Rep 9, rep 10, step number 3, we ask defeating questions, right? Like, then you close out your set, you close the deal, right?
Yep,
and then step number 5, you warm down with form. And good form always talks about family, occupation, recreation, that solves motivation. And so those 5 steps, and I know I went through that really fast, and now you got to grab the book because it breaks it down so simplistically.
And then you got to attend the free challenge, because you don't want to miss what happens on those. I got to tell you guys, I've seen him do, like, I think 3 during the time that you guys were doing it. They're never the same. The content's the same, but what happens in each one is different. And it's always them leading others that are ready to be led. That book will give you the info. You still need a coach. You still need somebody to show you the rest of it. There it is. Yep, we're going to put that all in there. Selfishly helping already persons eager for nurturing. And that's huge. Where can they get the book, a copy?
Yeah, for sure. So it's really simple. If you want to pay more, you can go to Amazon. I don't recommend it, but there's a bunch of testimonials there. You can pay like 20 or 25 bucks on Amazon, or you could do the easy thing and go to the number 5hourflip.com. It's 5hourflip.com. It's $7. Grab the ebook, and all throughout it, it's littered with a calendar link. You can book a call with somebody from my team. And every once in a while, when I got free time, I jump on and make those calls myself. So it's not always me, but I enjoy getting in there. If I'm available, I'll jump in and take a call or a coaching call, and or my team will encourage you to jump on our live free call that's coming up whenever it is. So 5hourflip.com.
Sweet. And then you're also on Facebook. As far as the page, which page should they follow?
Yeah, so I'm doing more content more and more daily on my public profile. Either way, Bryce McKinley, BRYCE, McKinley, McKinley. If you just search it, you can't miss me. But I've got a personal profile and I've got a public profile. Instagram is at Coach Sharpen. And those are the two primary. And then we just started a YouTube channel that's actually doing really well. There's a couple hundred subscribers in just like a couple of weeks. And that's Bryce McKinley as well.
No surprise there. I mean, considering everybody that you've already served, I'm sure it's since I need to go find the YouTube channel now because I didn't even know you had one.
It's fairly new, but my team has done a really good job of extracting a lot of golden nuggets and doing some shorts and videos. And so
that's good. That's sweet. So as you guys always know, all of those links will be down below. The acronyms will be down below. Of course, the description will give you more about Bryce and some of his links as far as following him on social. Make sure you do. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. And don't forget to subscribe to ours. Hit that bell next to it. So every time, we get another amazing guy like this, another amazing guest, it'll let you know. It'll actually just tell you. Every time you show up, you get notifications. Really cool. If you're listening to us on any of the, I'll just say any of the platforms because it's gotten past 12 already. That's podcasts. Thank you for one. Make sure you subscribe or download on whatever platform you happen to be on. And write us a review if you would, if you don't mind, trying to build that loyalty and get Apple to finally look at us as mainstream. We need 40 or something like that. We're so young and fresh. We're almost there. I only need about 32 more. So
let us know you care.
Yeah, exactly. And whether you like us or not, I mean, I actually have one guy that like is a hater. And not a continuous hater, just kind of was he shouldn't have said anything. He should have just let the guest talk. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I appreciate it.
There's always one, bro. There's always one.
It's okay. It doesn't affect me. I literally called Dan and I said, hey, I think I've arrived. I got a hater. He goes, what? I'm like, yeah, here's the comment. He starts laughing. He's like, yep.
And knowing our buddy Dan, he created like a funny GIF or a meme out of the hate. And
he is the king of shit posting, which I really love. What he didn't realize is he got a troll for a partner because I like trolling things every once in a while. So it's a good match. Really, it works out well.
I love it.
Of all things, all of you, thank you for stopping by, for listening, for making the time and taking the time. But our big one, honestly, is you got to know somebody that needs this kind of information. You got to know somebody who's in the investing realm or thinking about investing. Send them the link. Let them listen to what's going on here. This is all for you guys. We do this so that you have access to information, inspiration, things that will help you if you're in the midst of it or about to get into the midst of it or even exiting it, that you know that what you're about to do, doing, or done, you're in the right spot. Just like Bryce said, don't stop. If the freight trains are rolling, you don't want to throw it in first gear. It's not a good idea. Trust me, derailments are not pretty. Make sure you see what you got here and share it with others. All right. So again, love all of you. Stay up, stay safe, stay healthy, and live for myself Coffee with Mike. And Coach Sharpen, Bryce McKinley.
You know what time it is.
Yes, we do. Ciao for now.
For more information on Java Chat, visit www.javachatpodcast.com. You've been listening to Coffee with Mike on Java Chat. Tune in weekly to this podcast for the next episode. You can also download or subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform. A production of Oasis Media Group, LLC. Located in Las Vegas, Nevada. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved.